back for the fourth quarter of play between Ohio State and Penn State at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Penn State entering the game as the number 2 team in the country, has had the lead against Ohio State for the entirety since the opening kick, which Saquon Barkley took 98 yards for a touchdown to take a 7-0 lead. Penn State followed that up with another touchdown after a Paris Campbell fumble. Ohio State at one point trailed 21-3, and Penn State got their 35th point of the game on a jump ball touchdown in the end zone, which Denzel Ward thought he has an interception, initially ruled an interception and turned over. So 15 minutes to play, 15 points is the deficit for J.T. Barrett and the Buckeye offense. Ohio State has not had to come from behind very often in the Barrett regime. And they're going to need to do it if they want to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. They'll start this drive, actually the second down. They had a no-gain play on first. It's second down and 10 from the 24-yard line. And you think at some point they're going to have to take a shot, Davis. They need to get some chunk yardage. I don't think second and 10 is a time for that. They've been running the ball really well. But as you run out of time, you kind of hinder your ability to do what you do best, which is running the ball. Penalties, mistakes, mental and physical, have cost Ohio State to this point.
You talked about the big play needed by the Ohio State defense to turn the tide. I agree. They need a big play here on the offensive side of the ball.
So Barrett taking the snap with 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, and ball under the left tackle. JT takes a snap, speed option left, looking to cut up field, nowhere to go. He stumbles over the 25 to the 26. Kind of an awkward play there from Ohio State. They gain 2, and it's going to be third down and 8 to go for Ohio State, one they have to get, and probably their last opportunity to strike out if they do.
Big play or not for Ohio State, they have to have a sense of urgency. They like to play with a tempo. It needs to be upped.
Penn State's going to bring the heat here. Barrett in the gun, motioning out his protections. 15 seconds on the play clock, 14-24 on the game. Barrett takes a snap. Blitz coming from Penn State. He does have time. He throws it to Austin Mack. He secures it. Is he at the first down line? They're going to give it to him. Buckeyes move the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 35. J.T. Barrett to Mack for 9 yards.
Great job by Austin Mack getting a little bit of separation from his man out on the perimeter. Ohio State's going to have a first down.
Barrett looking to throw to the outside. He's got a man. It's Johnny Dixon. He's trying to break a tackle from Campbell, but Campbell does a good job to wrestle Johnny Dixon down by the sideline, and it'll be second down and 2 or 3 for the Buckeyes. Campbell limps off.
Fantastic tackle by Christian Campbell. Dixon was looking to turn the corner.
And now Johnny Dixon's down on the sideline.
Grant Haley was in pursuit as well for Penn State, but I think if Johnny Dixon spins that corner and gets away from Christian Campbell, he has a little bit more room to run.
Johnny Dixon's career at Ohio State has been marred by injuries. It seemed like he was just coming on the last couple games. So you hope this is nothing serious. He looks frustrated there on the Penn State sideline. Dixon, a junior. Coming into this game, he had 10 catches for 276 yards, averaging 27.6 yards per catch. He had 4 touchdowns, including a 70-yard touchdown a few weeks ago.
He's shown that he can be a big play guy. 2 touchdowns, 115 yards against Rutgers. Now I know it's Rutgers, but still he can get into open spaces, and he almost had a chance there.
With that, we're going to take a quick media timeout while Johnny Dixon is attended to. We'll be right back on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio.
To the sun, the south, the north, lies the birds that fall. Shackles of commitment fell, and pieces on the ground. Oh, to ride the wind, tread the air above the dim. Oh, to laugh aloud, dance the light across the crowd, yeah.
Dixon jogging off the field. Looks like he's okay under his own power. So Buckeyes now with 2nd and 3, huddling up on offense at the end of this media timeout, trying to gather themselves. They know they need to score with 13:55 to go. They have 191 rushing yards, 175 passing yards, 366 total, opposed to Penn State's 77 yards rushing, 142 yards passing, and 219 total for the evening.
We talked about it earlier, outgaining the Nittany Lions are the Buckeyes, but too many mental mistakes so far in the game. It's really cost them.
Yeah, JT Barrett, 22 for 28, 175 yards and a touchdown. Performing quite well for Ohio State. And if this doesn't go the Buckeyes' way, I'm sure it won't be remembered that way. Ohio State defensively, 1 pass breakup, 1 sack. They've had 2 interceptions, both negated by referee decisions, one a pass interference and the other an overturn, ruled a touchdown that made this a 15-point game about 10 game minutes ago. No score for the last 10 minutes of gameplay. The Buckeyes looking to change that. They have to change that with 13:55 to go.
Back to that defensive staff for Ohio State, just the 1 sack. I think that's a testament to Trace McSorley, to be fair. Done very well of getting out of the pressure that Ohio State's put on from that defensive front. And he's made plays, and it's really helped his team out to this 15-point lead.
This game eerily similar to last season's game where Ohio State dominated in all facets, but the blocked field goal return for a touchdown by Penn State gave them the juice they needed to lift them over Ohio State in Happy Valley. With 13:55 to go here in Columbus, Ohio State trying to rewrite that script. Barrett in the shotgun with Dobbins behind him. Now Dobbins to his right. 3 receivers to Barrett's left. 2nd down and 2 from the Buckeye 43-yard line. JT takes the snap, give off to Dobbins off the left side. He's looking for room, puts his head down, gets up near the 1st down marker. I think they're going to mark him a hair shy.
Looked as though the near side line judge was on that 45-yard line, but then shifted back. They are going to be short.
Quick snap coming from Ohio State. Penn State loads the box. Now they're spreading out a bit. JT takes the snap. He had a Penn State man offsides. The ball is down. Penn State recovers. The zone read is pulled by Barrett. Penn State recovers the fumble. Sharif Miller gets it, and Penn State has it deep in Ohio State territory. And if they score, that might be it in Columbus. Three to 3 is the score in Columbus. Tim Tully, Dylan Tyre ready to bring you the final 20 here from Value City Arena. 4 goals scored in the second period, Dylan. Both teams going back and forth. Ohio State did answer Michigan State's call both times.
Oh, man, it was an exciting second period. Goals left and right, and it seemed like Michigan State and Ohio State were really both able to respond within seconds after the other team scoring goals. So this third period should be no different. I think we have a really good one on hand for the third. Ohio State wanting to close this out and not send the series to tomorrow night. Michigan State, though, they want to extend their season, extend their life to tomorrow evening. So this third period will be a good one, back and forth like that second. You got to expect both teams, I think, want to strike early in this third period. Michigan State was able to do it in the second period. I think that kind of really directs where you're going throughout the rest of the period, and it allows Ohio State to kind of dictate what they want to do with it. And the same thing for Michigan State. They can dictate what they want to do with the puck if they're allowed to score early in this third period by Ohio State and Sean Romeo as well.
Ohio State has not fallen this season when leading going into the third period. It's tied right now. That next goal is huge for either side.
And Ohio State, like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast as well, when they score first this year, 15-0-3. So Ohio State trying to keep that streak alive as well. Their captain, Mason Yops, has 2 goals so far, trying to complete the hat trick. We saw him at the end of that second period, kind of shifting around in line, staying on the ice a little bit longer than his normal second line, playing with a couple of the other lines. So we'll see what happens. You see that graphic there. When OSU scores first, they have not lost a game in regulation all season long. So they're trying to keep that streak alive here against MSU in the third.
So here we go. 20 minutes left. Either 20 minutes that'll lead us to tomorrow night here at Value City Arena, or 20 minutes that will send Ohio State to the next round in the Big Ten tournament. Buckeyes, the number 2 seed, coming in, the consensus favorite to possibly take down Notre Dame, who struggled down the stretch, and they've done their job so far in this series, but they're tied coming into Game 2's final 20 minutes.
You said the consensus favorite to possibly knock off Notre Dame. The consensus among these Big Ten coaches is that anybody can beat anybody in the conference, especially with a 1-game semifinal and a 1-game final.
So right now, Wisconsin and Michigan battling. Wisconsin trailing by 1, but the Michigan Wolverines winning would book a date with Ohio State should they win. Of course, if Michigan State wins, they would face Notre Dame next round as the lowest seed in the tournament to face Cale Morris and that unit out there in South Bend. John Wiedela swings the puck back to Gordy Meyer. Meyer, one-handed carry into the zone, jumps it off in front. Wiedela almost rocketed that one home for his second of the night, but a good play there to get the glove. It might have even been a forearm save from John Letherman in the blue crease. And the Buckeyes will have to regroup. They get a line change, and now Matt Joyaux drops it off. Tommy Apap cut in front. Apap scored a goal, a big goal earlier in this game, right after Ohio State scored to make it 2-2. Apap put in one a handful of seconds later that kind of took all the momentum that Ohio State had built here in their home crowd. Kearney, that shot looked like it dented iron. That next shot cleaned it up from Tommy Perrin. And Dakota Joshua still fighting. Perrin tangled up with Logan Lambden. Great look there from Joshua to Lampasso. Loose in front. Almost cleaned up. Lampasso scored 3 games straight, 4 goals in that span. Kevin Miller at the top of the circle fires it in low. Buckeyes getting a lot of pressure here to start the third period.
John Letherman bailing out his defense. The post bailed him out one time there, but Michigan State's got to get some defenders in that slot area. Ohio State abusing the open slot right there. Nearly had 3 really nice chances to put one in.
Tommy Perrin goes D-to-D with Sasha Larocque. Certainly a playoff atmosphere now, Dylan, if it hasn't been earlier in the series. Both teams know how important the next 17 and a half minutes are. An icing called on Ohio State. Dakota Joshua and his line will trot back to that dot and try to win the faceoff and get a change.
This crowd starting to come alive for their Ohio State Buckeyes. That's something that no team in the Big Ten tournament has really ever been allowed before, as we have the new format this year, the best-of-3 quarterfinal at the top-seeded arenas.
Shot on, actually saved by Sasha Larocque. I don't know if you can see him on your camera. He's certainly feeling the effect of not having a real goaltender's set of pads there as he ate that. He's limping off the ice and hops off. Matt Miller spells him. I think he needs some water and some time, and it'll cool down a little bit. Kodorenko fielding the puck away from Tanner Wazinski. Puck fired in by Jared Rosberg. Looking across the bench, it doesn't look like Zach Osborne returned to the Michigan State bench, hoping for the best for him, and it puts Michigan State down in a compromising situation with just 5 D-men. Matt Miller clips it off the glass to Tanner Wazinski at the half board. Gatt was there in defense, and now the puck's up to Matthew Weiss in space. Weiss on Miller, one-on-one, drops it back. Lazinski rip, saved on the pads of Letherman. Transition opportunity for Ohio State. Now coming the other way are Michigan State. Good play by Gordy Meyer to scoop that away from Logan Lambden. And now working the other way are the Buckeyes. Lambden kicks it with his skates back to his D-man, and Michigan State looks to break out. Lambden, toe drag, trying to rip it through. Now Mason Yops and Gordy Meyer in transition. 3-on-3 with Wiedela on the far side. Yops drops that pass in. He's looking for his 3rd goal. Puck's up in front of Lambden. Lambden had no idea. Joyaux in to pick up. Lambden separates man from puck. Brendan Kearney picks it up. Kearney up at the blue line, tap through. Good patience there by Yops. He fields it. Big hit Stevens looking to take out Yops, and Mason Yops ducked just down under him to avoid.
Got to be careful if you're Brody Stevens, nearly leaving his feet to obliterate the captain for Ohio State right there.
That's not exactly an effective way to hit Mason Yops. He stands about 5'9". Leaving your feet, certainly, you could flip right over him. There Brody Stevens met with someone his own size, Tommy Perrin. They're fighting in front of the bench. Glove down, man down, Wiedela and Sanford getting chippy over there. No whistles called. It was even play on each side. We'll see how that develops. Wiedela took a swing, it looked like, at the hand of Sanford after Sanford lost his glove.
That was Sanford had actually knocked the glove off of Wiedela, so Wiedela attacked his stick and hand area, so an eye for an eye, as they say.
Colorblind, the red and green glove. It doesn't exactly work from this high. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Penn State trailing Minnesota in the third period in Hockey Valley. Wisconsin trailing Minnesota 4-3. So that series between Penn State and Minnesota looks like it may be headed for a Game 3. There's that big hit. And I think you're certainly right about Brody Stevens leaving his feet there. Another Michigan State player kind of took the brunt of that hit. Lewandowski rip goes wide of Sean Romeo. Still just 11 shots on cage for Michigan State. They only had 20 last night. Dakota Joshua over center ice. Dangles left, right, around a man. Carson Gatt gets it through, but Joshua wins the battle. Eggy, D to LaRock. LaRock back to Eggy. Eggy looking for a Buckeye to pass to. He dumps it down low. Lampasso. Christian Lampasso taking his time. Swings it around to LaRock. LaRock to Eggy. Eggy fires it in on Lethaman. He catches it right on the Spartans on his chest. And with that, we'll take our first time out of the third period. It's 3-3, 15 minutes to decide what happens here in Game 2.